The Xiaomi-made battery life champion smartwatch is here, bringing promises for new features, improved sensors, longer battery life, and an overall better smartwatch experience. But do these promises actually translate into real-world performance? Let's inspect. Hi, good to see you here. I'm Michael, and yes, testing 5 different wearables at once. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you everything which actually matters about the Xiaomi Watch S5, and we'll stay as far away as possible from marketing claims and instead focus on measured data, real workout behavior, the health tracking accuracy, the battery life, the software experience, and things you're going to notice after living with this watch every day for a while. As usual, I will clearly outline the pros, the cons, and most importantly, who this smartwatch is actually suitable for. Health tracking comes first, and unfortunately this is probably not the strongest side of the Xiaomi Watch S5, at least not yet. Let me go over the positives first. Step tracking is perfectly fine, heart rate tracking is actually very good, the new sensor does an impressive job and consistently delivers accurate readings. You can leave the measurements on the automatic settings, which collects every several minutes, or customize the frequency according to your own preferences. It is worth mentioning that you don't get continuous real-time heart rate tracking like you do with devices such as the Whoop series, but in fairness, Whoop is the exception rather than the rule. Most smartwatches on the market work similarly to the Xiaomi Watch S5. My biggest concern is sleep tracking. Throughout my testing, the watch repeatedly struggled to detect awake periods during the night. I know this because I have the habit of checking the watch whenever I wake up. In my cases, the watch reported uninterrupted sleep despite multiple awakenings, and because of that, I also find it difficult to fully trust the reported sleep stages. To Xiaomi's credit, the experience is still better than what you would get from a typical Mi Band. There is more detail, more context, and slightly better analysis. However, compared to many watches in this price category, I expected stronger performance. The funny part, which can act as a relief, is that it isn't dramatically worse than the Garmin Fenix 8, which costs several times more. That's probably less of a compliment for Garmin than it is a reminder that sleep tracking remains difficult even for premium devices. Workouts are where my impressions become considerably more positive. The Watch S5 offers a good variety and selection of activities. There's a built-in GPS and healthy amount of workout data. Xiaomi also makes it very easy to customize your favorite activities and quickly access them whenever you need them. That said, there are a few things I don't understand. Xiaomi has not been officially present in the US smartwatch market for years, yet the company continues to use very US-centric terminology throughout parts of the software. For example, football is still labeled as soccer. It's a small detail, but one that feels odd considering Xiaomi's primary markets today. Beyond that, the workout ecosystem itself is solid. You can choose from more than 150 activity types, but many of them don't offer the level of depth that serious athletes might expect. Soccer, for example, is available only as an indoor activity because GPS cannot be enabled. Cycling metrics are also relatively basic. There is still no dedicated EMTB profile, and overall, it feels like Xiaomi is relying on a sports database that has remained largely unchanged for years. There should also be a map feature that Xiaomi promises for this watch. At the time of making the review, however, it isn't available yet. Because of that, I cannot demonstrate how it works or judge how useful it actually is in practice. What I can evaluate is the GPS performance, and here Xiaomi deserves credit. GPS accuracy is good. But compared to equally expensive Amazfit device, well, I guess we might have some second thoughts given these areas on the screen. Before diving deeper into the hardware, let's talk about what I consider the biggest improvement in the entire S series: the design. Previous generation often felt a little too simple and somewhat plasticky. The Xiaomi Watch S5 finally feels like a watch that can compete visually with more premium alternatives. The bezels are noticeably thinner than on the S4. The stainless steel body immediately creates a more premium impression, gives the watch a reassuring sense of durability. In fact, during one of my football sessions, I unintentionally tested exactly that. The watch had an encounter with the metal structure. Thankfully, both the body and the lugs survived without any drama. The sensor array on the back has been completely redesigned for this generation. There's also a rotating crown, which is positioned intelligently enough to avoid accidental presses when bending your wrist, yet I still had such twice within the 2 weeks of testing. Combined with the water resistance, the display protection and overall build quality, I think Xiaomi has done an excellent job here. The technical specs are also quite impressive, and while you're looking at the list, let me remind you that there's the S series, which I review at the moment, but also Xiaomi have their Watch 5, which is based on Wear OS, quite solid too, and you can see my detailed review about it on the channel. Hardware inside the S line includes much more basic CPU focused on health and great battery life, which is the standout feature without question. Inside here, despite the fact it feels thin, there's an 815 mAh battery. It's a silicon carbon one, and Xiaomi claims up to 21 days of usage. Naturally, that's under ideal conditions, so let me give you some real numbers. With always-on display enabled, daily health tracking, which is active, and one GPS workout of roughly 20 minutes per day, with moderate screen usage, auto brightness, regular notifications, I'm typically seeing between 8 to 10% battery drain per day, which means roughly 10 days of real-world usage with AOD enabled and your health and workouts tracked. 10 days, that's excellent. If you disable always on display and use more conservative health tracking settings, achieving close to 20 days becomes entirely realistic. And as expected, this beautiful display remains the biggest power consumer. Speaking of the display, it is absolutely gorgeous. Large, bright, vibrant AMOLED in terms of tech, and easy to read outdoors. For the price, a fair deal. Xiaomi also includes a large collection of attractive watch faces, allowing you to completely change the personality of the watch whenever you get bored with the current look. They come for free, and there also are several always-on display styles available. Perhaps the most pleasant surprise here is the overall performance. Xiaomi remains very quiet about the processor powering the Watch S5, but whatever is inside is doing a fantastic job. Animations are exceptionally smooth, transitions are fluid, and the overall experience feels remarkably polished. In terms of responsiveness, this is probably the closest a Xiaomi smartwatch has come to delivering an Apple Watch-like feeling. As for the remaining features, you get a speaker and a microphone that can be used for Bluetooth-relayed phone calls. You can also listen to locally stored music directly from the watch, which feels kind of refreshing in a world increasingly dependent on cloud services. And no, we don't have Spotify as an app here. There's also a barometer and altimeter. They work reasonably well, although I wouldn't describe them as professional-grade instruments. My biggest concern, however, remains the software. Once again, Xiaomi has changed parts of the navigation logic compared to the previous generations. Personally, I value consistency from model to model, and that's something Xiaomi still struggles with. Thankfully, the changes aren't dramatic, and there are customization options available. The good news is that the interface looks fantastic. You can choose between 3 different menu styles, widgets are beautifully presented, and the overall visual design is among the best in this category. The bad news is functionality. Unlike even some very affordable Amazfit smartwatches, let alone fitness trackers, Xiaomi still does not offer a meaningful app ecosystem for the Watch S5. Even more frustrating, notifications remain largely non-actionable. There are rumors that predefined replies may arrive through a future software update, but let's be honest, some significantly cheaper watches already offer voice replies and full keyboard input. The software looks premium, though. It just doesn't always behave in a premium way. The companion application is Mi Fitness. You've already seen many parts of it while we explored the health and the sports tracking features, so I'm going to focus mainly on the customization options and the watch management. It's a good application, stable, easy to navigate, and offers a decent amount of customizations. The problem is that I was hoping to see faster evolution. the app feels somewhat stagnant, and despite using a significantly more premium smartwatch, doesn't always feel any different from the experience you would get with a much cheaper Mi Band, let's say. So, most of the major drawbacks I've already mentioned throughout the video. Sleep tracking accuracy still needs some work, few of the sports profiles feel outdated and lack depth, the promised map functionality wasn't available during testing, notifications remain limited, there is no meaningful app ecosystem, and there is still no eSIM version, something that many users have been requesting for years. In the end, I can comfortably say that this is the best S-series smartwatch Xiaomi has ever made, and it's such a cliché. That's a statement we can probably make about every new generation. The watch is good. It could have been great if it had arrived about 2 years ago, because today its biggest competitive advantage is the battery life. Everything else ranges from good to very good, but rarely stands above the competition. The design is excellent, the display is excellent, the battery life outstanding as mentioned, the GPS performance is okay, the software is beautiful, but functionality still hasn't caught up. So if you're looking for a stylish smartwatch with premium materials, excellent battery life, reliable GPS and polished user experience, yes, the S5 by Xiaomi is absolutely worth considering. But if your priority is a bit more advanced health tracking, more workouts, deeper sports analysis, and richer smartwatch-like functionality, especially about responding to notifications, there are other models I would personally consider first. And if you have some favorites already, let's talk about them in the comments below. Thanks for watching this complete review. Please support me, check the description for more information, subscribe and consider becoming a channel member. I'm the TechMishka who wishes for you to stay fit, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!